Welcome back, everybody, to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin. And today's act is Act 61, Man Without Emotion. There's something in this chapter that really kind of bugged me. And, I don't know, I don't really see an in-universe reason for why it is the way it is. But why does Saito continue to kind of show up in situations such as these? Isn't he supposed to be going to Kyoto? What is he doing still hanging around Tokyo? What is he doing still hanging around the Kenshingumi? If he finds that the Kenshingumi to be kind of in the way of Kenshin becoming the Batosai, I mean, maybe if that were explained and we were told that that's the reason that he's kind of keeping tabs on what's going on, or maybe he was already on his way out and he heard about Aoshi Shinomori showing up in Tokyo, and so he turned around. I don't know, but he kind of just shows up, tells Aoshi everything he needs to know, saves Megumi, and then just leaves. Like, I kind of want to know. I want to know. But whatever. Let's get into the chapter summary review, and we'll get into Aoshi and Shishio. Aoshi wants to know where Batosai is, but Megumi won't say anything despite Aoshi's threat to kill her. Saito shows up and fills Aoshi in on the situation in Kyoto, and he takes his leave. Aoshi claims that he has no interest in going to Kyoto, but will wait for Batosai to return. Aoshi finds a group of men hanging around the graves that he made for his fallen team, who claim to work for Shishio. After angering the men for insulting them and their master, Aoshi slays them when they try attacking him. Sojiro enters the scene and invites Aoshi to join their side in Kyoto. Aoshi declines, but Sojiro reminds him that it would be a shame to be the leader of the Oniwaban and miss out on a second time to be a part of history. Sojiro returns to Shishio and asks him what he thinks of Aoshi. Aoshi is left deciding to go to Kyoto after all. First off, let's go ahead and talk about Sojiro and Shishio, because Shishio makes his grand appearance in the manga in this chapter. Like, we finally get to see the man in the flesh. We've heard about Shishio, we've been told about Shishio, but we actually get to see Shishio here. And he's just kind of hanging around the forest, which is kind of an interesting way to introduce the character, just having a picnic. I don't know what it really says about Shishio in this moment. Knowing what I know about Shishio, but, trying to contain it to just this one chapter alone, I kind of get the feeling that, Shishio's just kind of, he's a master manipulator for sure, but maybe he likes picnics and stuff. No, what I mean to say is, that he probably, kind of just likes little life moments, like sharing a picnic with a beautiful woman next to him while, he's working. He kind of reminds me of a mob boss in a way, something that you would see in like a crime movie or something, where like the head is just always just kind of enjoying one of life's delicacies and, continuing to work even though he's enjoying himself. I don't know if that's what they were going for. But another thing that I wanted to point out about Shishio being here is his men going after Aoshi, and all of this kind of serving in the grand scheme of the men just being, I guess, a test for Aoshi to see if Shishio thinks that he's worthy of being someone pulled into the events that are going to unfold in Kyoto. And and it's clear that these men are kind of grunts just based off their designs, but Shishio kind of cultivates or has this level of loyalty for his men, making his men believe that they're much more important than they really are to Shishio, but having them be nonetheless absolutely loyal to him. The moment that Aoshi insults Shishio and the two men, or the three men, and that's it, they're ready to fight. So that's kind of cool that, like, we get to kind of see a little bit of how Shishio hangs out, but we also get to see the way Shishio, like the way he cultivates his following, or his subordinates, or his grunts, I guess, in this instance. And then how we have Sojiro, who we know who he is now, and I think he formally introduces himself here, but kind of continuing to hang around Tokyo as well, the same way that Saito is, but he's also just kind of continuing to make moves while Shishio is, enjoying himself. Sojiro really seems to be one of the closer men that is next to Shishio, and we get to see what he does, how he is one of Shishio's right-hand men, which will play out into later on in the story. But yeah, it's just kind of cool seeing it as early as right here, where we really start to see the Shishio faction. And with that, there's not a whole lot much more to say on Shishio and Sojiro, but the way that Shishio sees his men kind of plays into what we're going to talk about next with Aoshi. So let's go ahead and talk about Aoshi. Aoshi means business. The title of the chapter is called Man Without Emotion. If he says that he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He's not bluffing. He's not playing games. He's very stoic. And so when he tells somebody that he's going to kill them, he's going to kill them. So here he actually does kill the three men that work for Shishio. And so what that kind of does is give us confirmation that he was absolutely ready to kill Megumi at the beginning of the chapter, and if Saito hadn't shown up, Megumi would be dead right now. But also, Aoshi being able to see through what was going on, who these men were, and having their connection to Shishio, nonetheless did not hesitate to kill the men, despite knowing what their role there was. I kind of forgot to mention that one of the reasons that Aoshi did not hesitate to kill his men is because they disrespected the graves of Aoshi's men by eating and hanging out right there where the graves are. But also, one of the men actually spit on one of the stones that were placed there to represent the graves of Aoshi's fallen men. So I just want to make sure that I pointed that out and make sure that I explain that that's the reason that Aoshi did not hesitate to kill them. I think that the way that Aoshi sees it is that these men are dumb enough and loyal enough to follow Shishio, despite Shishio sending them off to a death mission. Something that they wouldn't be coming back from, is their foolishness for aligning themselves with Shishio. And so when he sees this, he tells Sojiro that he would never align himself with people who would, use their own men as fodder. And that in itself is just a striking contrast between Aoshi and Shishio, because Aoshi, as we know, cares very deeply for his men, especially the group of men that followed him until their very end, where we kind of know that the group, or the people that he led during the height of the Oniwaban eventually started to leave as things started kind of dying down, going in separate directions, and the core Oniwaban that we see in the story are the ones that remained. And those are the ones that he cares very deeply for. And seeing that Shishio does not have this philosophy, and he does not care about these men the same way that the way that Aoshi cares about his men, it's just I guess makes it easier for him to go ahead and slay him, just because he's like, well, they're the fools for following such men as Shishio, who would send them off to die, because he wouldn't do that. That's pretty cool. It's a nice little contrast between Aoshi and Shishio. Two villains two antagonists that we've encountered in this series. Aoshi being the former, and Shishio being the new one, the current one. But Aoshi kind of being set up to have a role in this story just makes it so much more interesting, and really, I like Aoshi being here just because of what it means for the story itself. And what I mean by this is that Aoshi already said that he does not intend to align himself with people such as Shishio. But Shishio wins by getting Aoshi to go to Kyoto regardless. Even if he doesn't join the Shishio faction, just him being there and having the same goal as maybe Shishio, and that I don't even want to say that they have the same goal, because it seems that Shishio doesn't really care. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really want to spoil it. But Aoshi is going to Kyoto to face Kenshin. And with that, Shishio wins by having somebody be there to kind of get in the way of Kenshin, and Kenshin is going after Shishio. It's kind of like a bit of a chess game, it seems, and I just really like the setup for all of Kyoto and everything that we've encountered so far. The little maneuvering of characters and setting them up and having them go and have different motivations, it all just it's all layered in itself, and it's something that I really enjoy about what we've seen so far in the series, or in this arc itself. And it's already proving to be that Kyoto is going to be a lot more complex than what we've seen in the past, in the Tokyo arc. So that's kind of where we're at now. I think that all of the pieces are set up, and from here on out, I believe that we're going to see these characters already go to Kyoto. Everyone who's going to Kyoto is now on their way to Kyoto, and I think that next chapter will be reuniting with Kenshin, who's been absent for the last few chapters. But we'll see. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been Act 61 of Rurouni Kenshin, Man Without Emotion. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and comment down below something that you enjoyed about this chapter. What do you guys think about Aoshi being here? What do you guys think about the introduction of Shishio? What do you think about Sojiro and Saito kind of hanging out in Kyoto or Tokyo, despite them needing to go to Kyoto? Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the comment section. But for now, bye, ciao.